how amazing they were. My really good intentions to go live earlier today. I came home, I was like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll do this, and then I'll go live. So yeah, here I am at 10:30, finally going live. But I look so tired. Just don't even look at how tired I look. But I wanted to hop on here and just talk really quick about what I'm learning about homeschooling. So, as a lot of you know, I'm a second generation homeschooler. I was homeschooled from kindergarten all the way up, and I loved it. I loved it, and I saw the value in it right away. But it's totally different, as you might imagine, being the teacher, being the mom, and doing the homeschooling, picking the homeschool curriculum and figuring out what to do, how to educate my children. And Thomas and I work together on this a lot, but I have more of, my finger on the pulse of the curriculum because I read all this stuff and talk to other moms. And so we're in classical conversations, which is great. It provides some guidance for us. It provides a community, and we love classical conversations. And the kids are picking up a lot of information, but there needs to be some supplemental work. And so just kind of figuring out our supplemental curriculum. So just kind of figuring out what we need to do. And I've been going back and forth, and we've tried 3 or 4 different math. We've tried, different type of history and science, and trying to figure out what to do, what would be the best to, that would get through to our kids, that would be good. And what I'm finding is, I'm gonna sound so lazy here, but I'm gonna be so real. What I'm finding is the amount of prep work that I have to do totally turns me off to a curriculum. I'm like, I know that there's got to be prep work, right? I know that I'm going to have to do some prep work to prep for the kids and be a step ahead of them and be able to, do stuff. But I was like, man, oh man, I can't handle this prep work. I can't handle setting this all up and learning. What I'm finding too is that a lot of these moms that put together this curriculum, they're brilliant and they've got such great ideas, and I love their creativity, but it's kind of stepping into somebody else's brain and learning the system that they've come up with and the passion that they've had. And so it's been trial and error, and we're still muddling through stuff. But I listened to a podcast last night, and I was totally touched. And this is one thing that I'm learning to do really well, and that is learn from experts. Learn from people who have been doing their passion or doing what they've been doing for decades. And figuring out what are the hurdles that they have been through. What are the struggles that they have gone through, and learning from their mistakes, and not having to make the same mistakes. And another thing that it does, listening to professionals, listening to people who have been there and done that, one thing that it has done that has been huge for me is given me permission to think outside the box, to allow myself to not have mom guilt. So this has been huge for me. So what we're going to be trying, which I am thrilled about, and I already know, even though I don't have the curriculum in hand because we just ordered it, from what I've looked at and what I've seen, and the fact that the prep work is like 5 minutes. What I know that this is going to be absolutely amazing. And so let me share with you. It's called, you guys probably already know it. And please, if you are a homeschooling mom, or you have homeschooling friends, and you know about curriculum that they use, or the tips or the things that they do, let me know. I would love to know what you know, and I'd love for you to share it. So it's called 5 in a Row, and it is all based upon reading to your children. And I started thinking the other day, when is the last time I sat down and read my kids a story? Like, the past 2 months have been so crazy. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I think it's been weeks since I read them more than just like a little story, you know, here and there. But like read them books. And we've got books that we've been working through, but they've just kind of been pushed to the side. And I'm like, when's the last time we actually sat down and read? And this quote, guys, this just gave me permission to kind of chill out a little bit and not focus so much on academia. Yeah, you know, academics are great. They can be. But it's not about pushing our kids through a lesson and giving them a test on Friday and measuring them against the rest of the world. If the only thing that I do as a mom is to give my children the ability to read, the ability to work math problems, and the love for learning, they can go anywhere. Anywhere. And I think about, what am I capable of right now? It's not like I had some amazing academic, you know, education. But if I can give my children a love for learning, that's what I want to do. So anyway, so I'm listening to this podcast, and I've got to read this quote to you guys because it was so good. It says, "The 2 single best investments you can make to improve the quality of your homeschool experience is to get a library card and a more comfortable sofa." And I just loved that. I thought, if I can just sit on the couch with my kids and read books and help them read things and watch things and learn things with their brain on, like, let's go a little bit above and beyond. Let's dig into this a little bit. And so we did some reading tonight. We've been slowly working through Grandma's Attic. And it's a great little tale, and it's true stories of this lady's grandma, and when her grandma was a little girl. And so it's so great. And so we started Grandma's Attic, or I think we're in the 2nd or 3rd book now. And so this little girl is learning these lessons, and after I read them 2 chapters, and after each chapter I stopped and was like, so what did she learn? What did the little girl learn? And these are such practical lessons, and there's so much. And I don't know if you guys saw the quote that I put up, or the post that I did today. It says, "In nature, you can begin anywhere, and you'll eventually end up everywhere." So we can read a book and we can talk about what time frame was the book written in. Let's talk about the clothing that they were wearing. Let's talk about the art during that time. Let's talk about absolutely the character lessons and the biblical lessons that they're learning. And so you can do so much with reading, but it's all within a story. I mean, my kids' imagination is just phenomenal. I just sit and watch them sometimes, and I'm like, how did they even come up with that? And I remember having a huge imagination, and I still do in a lot of ways. I'm a really big dreamer. But to just get down to that childhood, let's tell a story. I mean, there's a reason Jesus told parables, because he taught through these stories, and it sticks with people. And so anyway, so I'm absolutely falling in love with this idea. I cannot believe I've already been talking for 9 minutes. But this is what I am learning. If I can invest in a library card and a more comfortable sofa, and just listening to this guy, I'm going to post the podcast that I listen to. And it's by Heidi St. John, and she runs the Busy Mom. And it's a blog, and she's got a Facebook page. But the lady who came up with 5 in a Row, her and her husband did, and her name is Jane Claire Lambert, and her husband is Steve Lambert, and he's the one who was on the podcast. And he just, listening to him talk, and this is a man in his 70s with grandchildren, and his grandchildren are now being homeschooled. And he said, what my children remember is when my wife and I would sit and read them stories. And we're talking biographies and missionary stories, and then, historical fictions, and even just kids' books. Like, one of the first books in the curriculum is called A Duck Named Ping, I think. I think that's the book. Anyway, but then there's a guideline with the curriculum of what you can pull from that book, and I'm like totally blown away. The information that you can point out this, and you can point out this, and it's art and science and history and geography, and then you've got your social studies, all rolled into this little child's book. And this is the information you can pull out and help your kids think. And I'm just so excited to dive into this. So anyway, I guess what my whole point is I really want to encourage you, if you've thought about homeschooling, if you've been curious about homeschooling, if you just want to be a little bit more, even if your kids go to private or public school and you want to be more involved or just more a part of teaching your children a love for learning, read to them. And this was probably the biggest free point for me. It's not a waste of time. And that might seem really odd because, of course not. You're loving your child and spending time with them. But you don't have to. Reading isn't something that, okay, if we get everything else done, if you get all your lessons done, then you can be rewarded with me reading a story. When we should start our day with reading a story and getting into the passion of learning and how to dive into and not diagnose, what's the word I'm looking for? Dissect a book. How can you dissect it? How can you think about, what the author was looking at and what's the lesson in here and when's the time frame and all of that. So anyway, that has been what I have been learning, and it was so freeing to me that I wanted to share it. But I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Thanks for hopping on, and share with me some of your big aha moments with either how you learned and how you figured out your learning style, or your aha moments with homeschooling and what you discovered with your kids. I would love to hear it. Learning from others is truly becoming a passion of mine. And so yeah, thanks guys. Have a wonderful evening. Until next time, bye.